What's good, people? And I wanted to come on and talk a little bit about the news coming out of Redskins Park today. The team has officially promoted Kevin O'Connell from quarterback coach to offensive coordinator. You know, when you first start looking at the move, it looks like it's a move towards trying to modernize the offense by maybe trying to give Jay Gruden a kick in the ass to see maybe he needs to do things a little differently. O'Connell is 33 years old, and from what reports have stated is there's several other teams in the league were interested in perhaps maybe trying to bring him in to be their offensive coordinator. Now, that still remains to be seen if that was actually true or if the team is just saying that. But no matter what, a lot of people look at this guy like he could be perhaps maybe the next Sean McVay. Maybe the Redskins know that he has a good football mind. And one thing for certain is that bringing him into the offensive coordinator realm means that at least the game planning will be somewhat a new standard of thinking and not necessarily the old school thought pattern that perhaps maybe Jay Gruden uses with. I mean, if you look at his offenses and up, Jay Gruden can draw up a lot of good plays, but he needs some modern maybe stances to how to get things to work a little better with the setup of players that he has right now. I mean, last year, if you really look at it, with Alex Smith, mind you, entering Week 12, the Skins were ranked in like 26th in yards per game and 25th in points this past season. That's not good. And that's not getting it done. If you're a team that's supposed to be based behind an offensive guru, which Jay Gruden is been quoted as being. I know Redskin fans may get a chuckle out of that now, but that is what we were sold. That's the bag of goods we were given. But anyhow, to me, I kind of like the move, actually. I want young minds in the building. At the same time, makes you kind of question, does O'Connell now maybe like the guy in waiting? Could he end up being the guy that gets tapped to be the next coach if things go bad with Gruden this year? I mean, it lays a good question because the way the NFL is kind of make movements towards younger coaches, maybe they're trying to groom him a little. Who knows? Anyway, we'll see how that works out. So last year's offensive coordinator, Matt Cavanaugh, will now become the team's senior offensive assistant, whatever exactly that means. I mean, if you really want to look at this, honestly, it's kind of like shuffling deck chairs on the Titanic. You're all going down at the end anyway. But let's keep a little bit of optimism in there. Hopefully the team is getting it right. They're looking for a little bit of a difference here. Taking a quicker look at Kevin O'Connell, he was the quarterback coach with the Browns. He was an assistant with the 49ers before he came to Washington. And he was a quarterback coach to begin with. And then last year they added passing game coordinator to his details when the UCLA offensive coordinator job was offered to him. Now, the thought is that, he will bring something to the table. I can't really show any kind of statistical evidence that he's going to do any better than the guy that came before him because he's never been an offensive coordinator. The highest job he's ever held was last year when he was the passing game coordinator. So we'll see how that works out. A little bit of freshness with old blood, so to speak, even though he's only 33. He's been there for a couple seasons now, so continuity sticks together is what it is. Also, Jim Tomsula is going to be back for his third year coaching the defensive line, which is great news if you really think about it. I know a lot of people overlook these type of coaches, but Jim Tomsula is a spark plug, and he gets guys like Deron Payne and Jonathan Allen going on game day, and both of those guys have given Tomsula praise. He's helping build the trenches with Washington. It's one of our strong points. Hopefully they get it even stronger this year than it was next year, even stronger than it was this year. And the team gets it all back online, and maybe they could actually have a formidable defense like they used to have back in the day. It's something to hope for. I know that maybe coming off sounding hopeful, but we're really not that far from obtaining what we really want. The hard part is always getting from being average to hitting that above average plateau and then going into good football team plateau. And the way that has to be done has to be from the top down. No fan is wrong when they say that, but everybody needs to also understand that it's got to start with having the right coaches and talent in place. They got to get all of that right. We're already hamstrung this year with what we're going to do at quarterback, So it's going to be on this coaching staff to really step it up this season. And I got a feeling that if they don't, that they're going to see the firing line next year. And I also got a feeling that Kevin O'Connell was kept on as an offensive coordinator to perhaps be a guy that they could perhaps tap next year as a possible coach if they can't find anybody else to take the job. And we all know that Daniel Snyder has had problems in the past hiring new coaches after hard runs. We'll see how all this transpires. I really don't want to see the team going after another coach, period. Even though I personally don't think that Jay Gruden's the best coach in the world. And it would appear like to me like the only position that's left open now, because they filled everything except for the quarterback coach. Now, obviously, there's an opening there, or they've already hired somebody since that's where Kevin O'Connell was at last year. My thought is, I heard that they interviewed Ken Zampese. He was with the Bengals for a couple years. I think that that's probably who they've already hired, and they just haven't announced it. I don't know why we have to go with this whole, secret society way of doing things with the Redskins. Eventually, it's all going to come public anyway. I don't know why they don't just release it when the information becomes or happens. But it is what it is. That's all I got tonight, man. Just want to come on real quick. And I'll have something coming out soon more about the draft. Maybe do my first mock draft of the season. That's all I got right now. Hail to the Redskins. Peace.